Have you been sitting there wondering if now is actually the right time to buy or sell a home in Halifax? Because if you have, you're definitely not alone. I talk to people all the time who feel stuck because every headline seems to say something differently. One person says that the market is cooling. Another say that prices are still rising. Someone else says that rates are too high, so just wait. And after hearing all of that, a lot of people end up doing nothing, not because moving is the wrong decision, but because they're too scared of making the wrong choice. And honestly, that makes sense. Buying or selling a home is a big deal. It is not like buying something small and hoping it works out. This is where you live. This is your money. This is your next chapter. So when the market feels uncertain, it's easy to freeze up. But here is what I want to tell you right now from the start. Trying to perfectly time the market is usually the wrong goal. The better goal is to understand your specific situation, understand your options, and make the smartest move based on your life, not based on noise from the internet. I'm Logan Tomcik, your real-life realtor here in Halifax, and in this video, I want to help you think about the market timing in a way that actually is useful. No fluff, no hype, just honest, clear guidance so you can figure out whether now makes sense for your next move. And before we get into it, if you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere in Halifax, Bedford, Dartmouth, HRM, or all across Nova Scotia, I want you to download my free home buying guide and my free home selling guide in the description below of this very video. They're built to help you make better decisions and avoid expensive mistakes. And if you want real advice for your specific situation, reach out to me directly. But all right, let's get into the video. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is asking, is now a good market? That sounds like a smart question, but it's actually too broad, because the truth is, the answer, it just depends on you and your situation. Are you a first-time home buyer who is tired of renting and wants to start building equity? Are you upsizing a home because your home no longer fits your lifestyle? Are you selling because you need a change, a different location, more space, less space, or just a fresh start? Those are very different situations, and they do not all need the exact same strategy. So instead of asking the blanket question, is now a good market? I think a better question should be this: does making a move now make sense for me? That is the question that actually matters here and that we need to focus on. Let me give you a real example of the kind of situation I see all the time. Let's say there's a couple living in a small condo in Halifax. Maybe they bought it a few years ago and at the time everything worked out great, but now life has changed for them. Maybe they have a child on the way. Maybe one of them works from home now. Maybe they just feel cramped and the space is not working for them anymore. So they start looking at homes in Bedford or Dartmouth. They start checking listings. They watch the market daily. They read articles. They talk to friends and family, and suddenly they're completely overwhelmed from all of this conflicting information. One person is telling them to wait because rates might come down. Another person tells them to move fast before prices go up again. Another tells them the market is softening. Another says a good home still exists to move quickly, and now they're just stuck with all these conflicting informations. And this is where a lot of people stay and don't move. Not because there are no options, not because it's impossible, but because uncertainty creates hesitation, and hesitation creates delays. The problem is, a delay has costs too. Sometimes the cost is continuing to live in a home that no longer fits your specific lifestyle. Sometimes The cost is missing a window where your current home could sell quite well. Sometimes the cost is emotional, stress, frustration, feeling like there's no movement or not uncertainty of what to do next. That is why I do not believe in giving people blanket advice. I do not think it is helpful to say now is always a perfect time to buy, or on the other hand, saying just wait and see what happens. What is helpful is looking at the actual numbers, the local market, your specific timeline, your specific budget, and your specific goals. Because real estate is local. What is happening in one part of Halifax can be totally different in another part of Halifax. What's happening in Bedford can be totally different than what's going on in Dartmouth. Even within the same area, different price points and different types of homes can behave very differently. That is why general advice can be dangerous. You need local context. You need a strategy that works with your situation. And you need someone who will actually tell you the truth, even if it's not what you're expecting to hear. So what does smart timing actually look like? Now, it starts with understanding that there's really a perfect moment that single thing will line up perfectly. That's rare. And it does happen, but it's very rare. There's usually unideal rates. There's usually inventory shifts. There's usually competition being too low or too high if you're buying or selling, and finding that perfect unicorn. Again, unicorns still exist, but they just might be hard to find. So smart timing is not about perfection. It's about preparation. It's about knowing what your home would likely sell for right now. It's about knowing what you could realistically buy in today's market. It's about understanding your monthly payments, your closing costs, and your comfort level. It's about knowing whether your next move would put you in a stronger position financially. That is what gives people confidence. Not guessing, not headlines, not waiting for a unicorn, and certainly not the opinions from 10 people who don't even know everything going on in your specific situation. Clarity, it gives people confidence, and clarity is what I try to give my clients every step of the way. If you are selling, smart timing means understanding how your home fits in today's market. It means pricing properly, presenting the home well, and knowing what buyers in your area are actually responding to. If you're buying, smart timing means understanding what you can afford and what your non-negotiables are, and where you may have room to negotiate with any seller. If you're doing both at once, which a lot of people are, then timing becomes even more about planning and preparation. You need a strategy that protects you on both sides of the move, when you sell and when you buy. And that is where having the right realtor matters. You do not just need someone to unlock doors or list a property and put it on the MLS. You need someone who can look at the bigger picture and help you make a strong decision. Someone who can explain what is actually happening in the market clearly so it makes sense to you. Someone who can tell you when to push and when to wait and adjust. Someone who communicates well and keeps you informed, because when people do not know what's going on, that is when stress takes over. That is a huge part of how I work. I want my clients to know what is happening, why it matters, and what the next step is. Because I don't want there to be fluff. I don't want there to be vague answers. I don't want to be leaving my clients in the dark over anything. I just want to provide clear, honest communication so you can move forward with your next move with confidence, because it's a big decision and you need to have all the knowledge you can get. So if you're wondering whether now is the right time to buy or sell, here are 3 things I want you to do first. First, stop trying to predict the perfect market. You do not need perfection. You need a plan. Second, Get specific about your specific situation. What do you want? Why do you want it? What is your timeline? What is not working about your current situation? What would a successful move actually look like for you? Third, talk to someone local who can help you look at real numbers and the real opportunities in your area. Because once you have real information, the whole thing becomes a lot less overwhelming and a lot more clear. And that is what I want for you when focusing on selling or buying or both. I do not want you sitting on the sidelines for 6 months or a year just because you feel unsure about your situation. I want you to understand your options. I want you to know what's possible out there for yourself for your next move. And I want you to make the right move for your lifestyle when the timing is right for you. So if you are thinking about buying, selling, upsizing, downsizing, or just trying to figure out what your next steps could be in Halifax, Bedford, Dartmouth, or HRM, or anywhere in Nova Scotia, reach out to me directly. All of my information is below in the description of this very video. And you can send me a message or comment on this video. Let's talk about your situation because I want to help you build a real plan that can help. And make sure that you're also grabbing my free home buying and home selling guides. Again, those are in the description below. They will help you understand the buying and selling process, avoid costly mistakes, and help make you move with confidence. If this video helped you, subscribe to my channel because I share honest, practical real estate advice for buyers and sellers here and all across Nova Scotia. And if you know someone who is stuck trying to decide whether now is the right time to move, send them this video. I'm Logan Tomcik, your real-life realtor, and I'm here to help make your realty dreams happen with honest advice, clear communication, and a strategy that fits your lifestyle.